For me, like when I figured that out, I was selling drugs. I grew up around that. So I felt like selling drugs was gonna make me a millionaire. I was gonna work a job to kind of keep the heat off of me and look like a normal civilian. But ultimately, we're gonna sell, we're gonna meet Pablo Escobar and like be like the richest drug dealers in the world. That was always my dream, and I thought I would do that. That would be, that was what I thought I would do to be successful. But so ultimately, when I came into that space, it was me having more children, and I was just like panicking. And then, by me going to federal prison before, I was still selling drugs, and I'm not having, I don't have a license. I'm driving in a car with drugs. I'm like, you know, um, just doing the most, right? Very risky, problematic, about to go back to jail pretty much, or something worse is gonna happen. So that's what I'm into at the time when I'm having these thoughts and I'm just panicking because I don't know what to do. I don't have any outlets, any role models, I don't have any ideas, none of that. But I know I don't want to go to jail and I know I don't want to get killed. And so that's when I just started to look around with a different eye. So now I'm looking at World Star Hip Hop and I'm looking for like what can I do to get out of this life? I'm having a conversation with my son, and I'm like, son, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to inspire him I want him to inspire me, right? So he can give me some ideas. I'm just looking everywhere for ideas. And so, by me looking at World Star Hip Hop and things like that, I found a guy that did real estate. He was a three-time felon and he was in the back of a Maybach, and it just inspired me. And I YouTubed him, and he did real estate and just went all in on real estate at that point. And so that's kind of like how I made the shift. And it was just like, I was talking to my friends too, like before that, like, man, like dead or in jail. That's what they say. The road ends in this lifestyle. So what are we gonna do? And nobody knew. So I felt like that was my purpose and my passion. And so from there, I ended up just like finding a guy on World Star, and then I just went and took the real estate class. I met some other people that ended up telling me about wholesaling, and then from there, I just gave it all I had nonstop. Yeah, so when I was coming up, most of my friends, like I said, we all grew up in this same lifestyle of thinking that like street stuff and doing different things was like cool, and that's all we really seen. So that's what we aspired to be. The movies, the music, everything framed it for us. So we were like in this bubble of thinking that like this is what life is about. Like we didn't know anything about life in a different city, a different side of town. We just knew about South Richmond, where we're at, impoverished neighborhoods. We're gonna do this and do that to get out of this place and win gloriously one day. And we influenced each other to believe that, and we encouraged each other to do negative things because that was the economy that we were doing. It's like the most negative thing you could do was like the most positive thing in that space. And so, contrast to that, by me switching up and, changing my mindset, changing my lifestyle, now I'm around people that want to win big. They're encouraging me to continue on my path. When I start to doubt things, they encourage me like, hey, look how far you came. And so it's just like a support system that helps, you to continue to believe and to know that you are able to do it, and you can do anything that you put your mind to. People I work with now, they're telling me how to get to the next level. They're telling me different strategies I can use as I level up from 1 million to 10 million to 100 million. There's different strategies that go with that, and you have to learn those strategies on how to scale your business. So now I'm getting mentorship. Now I'm building friends. I'm building friendships. I'm building my network to the point where I can, continue to grow and continue to elevate in life. So that's the difference between now and then. My friendships and my immediate circle. Those people have to change for you to grow. So essentially, when I first seen the guy on World Star Hip Hop, I googled him and he did real estate. So for me, that piqued my interest off the rip. It's like, okay, you can be a felon and you can get into real estate. I didn't know that. So for me, I was ecstatic because now, I'm coming from a background where, like I said, we're doing the wrong career. But then when I try to get a job, I'm a felon, or I don't have a degree, so I can't make but so much money. But now we're talking about real estate. So I Googled it, and like, real estate makes the most millionaires out of any industry. And when I seen the guy, I'm like, he did real estate. So I'm like, oh snap, I think I'm gonna do real estate. So I started Googling, and I Googled real estate, and I realized it makes the most millionaires. I also Googled how to get rich, and I realized that like real estate was really, really one of the best ways to make a fortune and just, create wealth. So I started doing real estate. I went to the Mosley and Flint Real Estate School. I met some people there that introduced me into wholesaling, and wholesaling was a concept that I had never heard of, that I could make a bunch of money without any type of licensure, experience, or anything. And I just didn't believe it was real. I didn't believe that. And so I was like, if this thing is real, this is going to be my ticket out of here. And I just stuck with it no matter what. I just kept doing it. There were so many different shiny objects that came along. You can do Amway, you can do this multi-level marketing thing, you can do this, do that. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to stick with this. Make sure I'm going to prove this concept, and I'm gonna get myself out of poverty with this method. And that's what I did. And the reason why I chose Major League down the line is because I used to play basketball. I was really good in basketball, I thought, anyway. And my mom, I used to always tell her, like, Mom, I'm gonna go to the NBA. Like, I'm gonna take care of you, Mom. I promise I'm gonna take care of you. And I'm gonna go to the NBA. I'm gonna go to the league. We call it the league. And when I started making a bunch of money, I started seeing six-figure checks back to back. I'm making millions of dollars, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually in my own major league. Like, I'm in my own NBA. And so I'm living life like some basketball contracts. I mean, they might make 40, 50K a month. That's like, not even $1 million a year, So it's like, hey mom, I'm in the league now. I'm in the major league, right? And so I wanted to create that community so other people could experience that. Other people could live like basketball players, superstars, and be in their own league without having been signed to a contract, or being a sports person per se. We have a saying in my community: either you have a good jump shot, or you selling drugs, or you can sing or rap. Those are like the only three ways that you can make it out of like where I'm from, is what we think. So it just brings light on a new way that you can make it out of poverty, or out of any circumstance for that matter. And you can be, a superstar, like those people that rap, sing, or play ball, and live your life, happily ever after. So that's how I came about. I did YouTube. I did a lot of YouTube. I just tried to meet new people. I pulled up on job sites. I went to real meetings, and I just network. That's one of my biggest things, is networking and learning from people, taking people out to lunch, picking their brain. And just effort, trying, just failure. Failure is really the best teacher. You go out here and do something, you mess up, you learn what not to do, and you get past that step, and you get to another step, and you fail again, you learn what not to do. So now you're at the third step, and you just have to use failure as a crutch to keep on going. So for me, those are the three things that I did that really made it, made a difference for me, for real. Yeah, my mom was always like one of the sweetest people that I know. She doesn't drink, smoke, curse. She doesn't go out. She just always took care of us. She just always washed our clothes, cooked dinner for us, made sure that we were clean. Like, she really did a great job. And she was the breadwinner, for real. She worked hard, consistently, and she never let us lack, the necessities. We didn't have much over that, but she did make sure that we were good. So for me, it was a big deal to get myself in position to be able to show gratitude, and take the weight off of her. And like I said, when I was in the streets and in those wrong environments, that was some of the toughest things mentally for me, was knowing that my mom, a person that struggled and sacrificed so much for me, that loved me so much no matter what, that I was hurting her by doing this, and risking my life every day, like, the way that I was. And, for me, like I said, we didn't have much over necessity. It was just me trying to make a better way for us all, but it was just in the wrong space. So when I started to transfer my energy into doing positive things and translating my skills over to like just learning more and doing different things, my mom was very supportive. And I just remember one time where like I used to ask her for money in between that process, so I was figuring it out, finding different jobs and just trying to find my way until the real estate actually popped off. I was asking her for $20 here and there, just for gas, just to keep going. And I had, kind of asked her maybe 4 or 5 times, and I was like, I'm not gonna ask her anymore. And I remember one time I really needed the money, and I asked her for $20, and she was like, "Yeah, come over. I'll give it to you." And I came there, talked to her, and just told her I was, I'm not gonna do anything illegal. Mom. I'm gonna stick this thing through. I'm okay. I appreciate your help. I didn't even want to ask you. And she gave me $40. And for me, like, it just meant so much to me because I was so down to my last and I didn't have it. I was just trying to hold on. And she gave me that money, and I just remember like pulling my phone out and just like crying and just recording myself riding down the street, just making a commitment to myself, like, hey man, you're gonna do this, Eric. You're gonna make this happen, like, just proclaiming those things to myself, to my mom, to God, and just really making that commitment in that moment based upon the love that she showed me. Because at that time, I didn't have anything. I didn't even know I was gonna probably eat. So I just really appreciate, her for that, and I'll never forget that. Yeah, so the mission of Eric Hunter is to leave a clear, concise blueprint that can change the lives of anybody coming from any place of, any background, and wants to live a high functioning life and, provide for others and leave a legacy that can outlast them. That's the clear goal, is to essentially change the world in that space where it's like from poverty and lack to knowledge, intelligence, and abundance for anybody, and make it clear and concise, something that digestible that, people can grab a hold to no matter what, even starting from illiterate people to helping them to understand how to speak better, then to capture their mindset, then to invest into themselves and do the things that they need to do to take the action to get the results. That's my mission.
And when it comes to like legacy and helping people, do you just want to help people from Richmond or like any other country or not country, state? And if so, what are the tools that they can find in your website or on your later platforms?
Yeah, so ultimately, my visions are huge. I want to help people from everywhere, all over the world. However, people's problems change all over the world. Like, some countries don't have the same issues that we do in America, but I still want to help them. I still feel like, just me in general, I'm a beacon of hope and love. And yeah, so for me, it's about just changing the world and helping the world in any way that I can. Starting with my city, starting with the mentality of my city, just helping people to get themselves in a place where they can fulfill their purpose. Then cross country, people that think like us, people that need the help. Doesn't matter the race, the color, just people that are in these positions that need the help to become high functioning. And then as we go across the world where there's other issues, where people may need love, people may need civilization, people may need different things, I want to be able to be in a position to use my financial resources as an instrument of power to be able to extend those type of resources across the world, even if it's not financial literacy or just something that we face in America. I still want to be a part of, the change. I would have to tell them to think positive and to adopt the attitude of gratitude. And the attitude of gratitude is just simply finding something to be thankful for. Your energy and emotions operate on a frequency and a vibration, and we all are on a frequency, and we all vibrate at a certain space, whether it's negative, positive, or whatever, other emotion that describes it. But the attitude of gratitude, just grabbing on a hold to the fact that it could be worse and that you can be thankful for what you do have right now, will keep you in a place where you can be positive about life and you can look at the bright side, you can change your perspective. And so I think that's where the power lies, is in what we dwell upon. And if you're thinking that it's negative, then you're going to dwell upon it. But if you're thinking positive, you're going to dwell upon that positive. You're going to hold that image in your mind. And you have the power to create. Us as human beings, we are creators, and we can use our imagination and our thought process to create our reality through our actions and what we know and believe. So that would be my quick words of advice, that you can change right now and you can start living a better life that will show up in the upcoming years, 3 to 5 years from now, if you just stay consistent with those type of mental practices. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, man. I'm my real authentic self, and I'm gonna keep on giving this to you. So you can find me on Instagram at Major League Billy. You can find me on all other social media platforms at Major League Billy, and you can find my community is the Major League University, and that's on Instagram and TikTok as well. Subscribe to the channel, hit like, share, comment, let people know if you found value in this video, and I look forward to spending more time with you.